Chapter 31, Redemption's Melody. The Recreation Hall of Wachita River Correctional Unit had never looked or felt like this before. Usually a dead zone of boredom and monotony, it now thrummed with an electricity that no one could quite put into words. Inmates shuffled around, dragging tables and chairs into place, while others worked on the makeshift stage. It wasn't much, just some old pallets hammered together and covered with plywood, but under the harsh fluorescent lights it carried the weight of something larger, something momentous. Cody Steele stood at the center of it all, sleeves rolled up, sweat beading on his forehead as he directed the impromptu operation like a conductor at Carnegie Hall. His guitar leaned against the edge of the stage, gleaming in the artificial light. It wasn't just an instrument tonight, it was his lifeline, his confessional, his megaphone. Ramon was crouched by a wobbly mic stand, tightening a loose bolt with the intensity of a surgeon. "Think this thing's gonna hold?" he asked, glancing up at Cody. Cody smirked, giving the mic stand a firm pat. "It'll hold. Might not look pretty, but neither do we." Ramon chuckled, standing up and brushing off his hands. "Good enough for me." Jimmy, seated off to the side, ran his fingers over his harmonica like a magician preparing for his next trick. He brought it to his lips and let out a few testing notes, soft, mournful, and perfectly imperfect. The sound echoed through the hall, silencing the low hum of conversation as heads turned toward him. "That's the sweet spot," Jimmy said with a grin, twirling the harmonica between his fingers like it was his most prized possession. And, in a way, it was. Tucker, behind his cobbled-together drum kit, tapped out a quick rhythm on a plastic bucket, nodding in satisfaction as the beat reverberated off the walls. "We're ready, boss," he said, glancing at Cody. Before Cody could respond, Guard Davis approached, his heavy boots clunking against the tiled floor. Davis wasn't known for being warm, but tonight there was a glimmer of something softer in his usually sharp eyes. He clasped his hands behind his back, surveying the room with the air of a man trying not to be impressed. "This your big night, Steele?" Davis asked, his tone neutral but not unkind. Cody nodded. "It is, sir. Thanks for letting us do this." Davis tilted his head slightly, as though considering something. "Good for morale," he muttered. Then, almost as an afterthought, he added, "Don't make me regret it." "We won't," Cody said, his voice steady. "Promise." As the final preparations came together, the inmates began to file in, filling the rows of chairs with a mix of curiosity and quiet anticipation. The usual tension that hung in the air like smog seemed to dissipate, replaced by something lighter, something almost hopeful. Cody took a moment to stand at the edge of the stage, scanning the crowd. These men knew his story, every stumble, every fall, and now they were about to see what he was trying to become. His heart pounded in his chest, not with fear, but with purpose. He turned to his bandmates, his voice low but firm. "Let's make it count." Ramon gave him a thumbs up, Jimmy shot him a grin, and Tucker tapped out a slow, deliberate rhythm on his bucket drums. The makeshift band was ready, and so was Cody. The setting sun slanted through the high windows, bathing the room in a warm, golden light that made everything feel a little less like prison and a little more like something else. Cody stepped up to the microphone, gripping it tightly as he cleared his throat. "All right, everyone," he began, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. "Let's forget where we are for a while. Let's just listen." In a far corner of the room, Big Rob discreetly pulled out the contraband phone. With a quick swipe, he hit record, the tiny red light blinking to life. Cody glanced at his bandmates, gave a quick nod, and counted them in. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first chords of "Behind These Bars" rang out, low and soulful. Ramon's bass added a steady grounding rhythm, while Jimmy's harmonica cut through the air like a voice yearning for freedom. Tucker's improvised drumming kept the beat, simple but unrelenting, a reminder of time ticking forward. Cody's voice rose above the music, rich and raw, carrying the weight of every regret and every hope he'd ever known. "Behind these prison walls I hear freedom's call, but these chains keep holding me tight. Underneath the watchful skies, I dream of open fields where my heart can truly heal." The room stilled, the melody wrapping itself around every man present. Inmates who usually carried hardened expressions now sat with their heads bowed or their eyes closed, letting the music take them somewhere else. Even the guards stationed along the walls couldn't hide their quiet respect. As the song reached its crescendo, Cody's voice swelled with conviction. Though I'm bound by these walls, my spirit still roams free, finding hope, finding grace in the echoes of melody. The final note lingered in the air, trembling like a heartbeat, before fading into silence. For a moment, no one moved. Then the room erupted in applause, not the polite, half-hearted kind, but something real, raw, and cathartic. Some inmates stood, clapping with a fervor that bordered on reverence. Even Guard Davis gave a small nod, his respect unmistakable. "Thank you," Cody said into the microphone, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you. This song, it's for all of us, and for everyone who believes in second chances." The applause swelled again, and Cody turned briefly to Big Rob, who gave him a thumbs up. The recording was good. The moment was captured. Cody adjusted the mic and glanced at his bandmates. "This next one's called Redemption's Melody. It's about knowing it's never too late to change your tune." The band launched into a new song, this one faster, brighter, but no less heartfelt. Cody's voice carried over the beat, weaving a story of loss and hope. "In the quiet of my cell, I heard freedom's bell, ringing far beyond these walls of pain. With each note I cast away a life led astray, finding strength in redemption's melody." Tears glistened in the eyes of men who thought they'd forgotten how to cry. Guards exchanged glances, their usual stoicism cracked by the profound humanity of the moment. When the final note faded, the room erupted once more. Cody stepped back, his chest heaving with emotion as his bandmates clapped him on the back. For the first time in years, he felt it, the unmistakable echo of redemption. Big Rob tapped the phone, sending their recording to PJ with a quick swipe. Cody didn't need to ask if it had been worth it. The answer was written on every face in the hall.